is Mariah with Berkshire Hathaway, and today I'm going to go through my phone and answer a handful of questions that we get asked commonly from home buyers and home sellers. We are going to cover a pretty good variety of topics, so be sure to listen in until the end. You're not going to want to miss anything. If you are new here, welcome. On this channel, we make videos talking about all things real estate related, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. If you are thinking about moving to Oregon or buying or selling a home in Oregon in general, and you don't already have a realtor, I'd love to work with you. I will put my email address here. Okay, so the first question is, when do I get possession of the home? When we close. So that's coming from a home buyer. And just to clarify before I get into the answer, a lot of buyers and sellers get closing and signing confused. So just to clarify this, signing is when you go into the title company, you set that signing appointment, you go into the title company and you sign all of the closing papers. And closing is basically just another word for when we fund, when we have officially funded, that's when we've closed. So we close when the seller has the money in their account and the buyers have their name on the title, they officially have possession. And signing and closing don't always happen the same day. Once you go into the title company and sign all the closing papers, closing will happen usually within 24 hours of that signing. Now, say you go in like early in the morning and sign first thing in the morning, then a lot of times it can be officially funded and closed by the end of the day. But a lot of times we'll sign one day and then we'll officially close the next business day, if that makes sense. Generally, buyers get possession of the home at 5:00 p.m. on the day of closing, on the day that we actually fund. And there are instances when that's not the case, but unless negotiated otherwise in the contract, that is what will happen. Who keeps the kitchen appliances when a house is sold? In Oregon, it's more common than not for the seller to leave. The dishwasher and stove almost always stay, not always, but usually they stay. And then the fridge, it's actually really common in Oregon for the fridge to stay in the home too. Say the seller says, like verbally, they tell the list or the buyer's agent that they're planning on keeping the appliances in the home, but it's not in the contract, then it really doesn't matter. They don't have to actually leave them there. The buyer could be completely counting on having them there because the seller said they would leave them, but if it's not in writing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. So if you're a home buyer and having the kitchen appliances stay in the home is something that's important to you and you want to make sure that they're going to stay, then you're definitely going to want to ask for that in the offer. So the next question is, what is an escalation clause and should I use one when writing an offer? An escalation clause is basically a form that we can include in an offer that says, I'm willing to go, say for example, $5,000 over the highest offer, because we use these if you're in a bidding war situation. I'm willing to go $5,000 over the highest offer up to X amount of dollars, say $400,000. There's a cap so that way you're not just saying, I'm going to go $5,000 over the highest offer. Well, what if the highest offer is $450,000 and then you're getting yourself into a situation where you're paying way more than you expected to? Then the second part of that question is, should I use an escalation clause when writing an offer? I always ask the listing agent when I'm going to write an offer if the sellers would even consider an escalation clause. And to be honest, more often than not right now, we're seeing sellers say, we don't want any escalation clauses, highest and best only, because it's so competitive, it keeps things clean, and they don't have to have them, quite frankly. If the market were different, then I think it would be a different situation, but because it's so competitive and they just don't have to use them, more sellers are saying, no, we don't want any escalation clauses. We only want highest and best only. So the next question is, I want to buy a house and get the process going, but I'm not sure how to begin. What's the first step? How do I begin? The very first thing that will happen is I will have a FaceTime appointment with you. Now, this doesn't have to be done over FaceTime. It can be a phone call, or we could even just email back and forth about the information, and I can get your information that way. But preferably, if possible, a FaceTime appointment is usually the best, because it's just the easiest way to connect and get face-to-face in a way without actually, you know, being face-to-face yet, and get all your questions answered about the home buying process. I'll walk you through the home buying process, what to expect, get an idea of what you're looking for, and we'll go from there. So if you'd like to set up a FaceTime appointment with me, I'd love to talk to you. Again, I'll put my email address right here. I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you have any other questions regarding real estate, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to help you out, and I'll see you guys next time.